This hedge and entrance will look like this. This hedge 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 will look like this. And this hedge will look like this. I'm gonna be using this Ryobi hedge cutter with a hedge sweep on it to be able to sweep all the cut off branches to this side of the property. I always use eye protection, ear protection, and arm protection. I use a long sleeve because it's very easy to get scratched when you cut the hedge. Let's get to it. I usually cut little by little, but this is very overgrown, so I think I'm gonna have to cut a lot today. But little by little, and I'm looking for a square look. Sharp edges and a flat top. I usually go over the hedge before I cut it, and when I see long branches like this, I usually try to tuck them in. If you don't, it's going to be very thin after a few cuts. So I tuck them in all around the hedge, and then I start cutting. I usually cut the sides first because it's easier to get close to the hedge and cut the top part when the sides are gone. So let's start with that. Little by little. I try to get close to the hedge so I can see the line. And I start like on this place. Here is an opening, so I can start here. And then I can move closer and I can still see the line. I always work from the bottom up because that's working against gravity. When I push the branches up, they want to fall down into the cutter. And also I don't pull the hedge out. If I was gonna do this, the hedge would be pulled out and it would have been an uneven cut. So that's why I go from the bottom and up. And here at this side, I'm gonna cut this a bit hard because I want to be able to see the whole gate here. But little by little. Now we can do the top cut. My wife wanted the hedge to be chin high, so let's try to aim for that. A bit lower than chin high, but it's good enough. It's always easier to trim the hedge on a calm day. It's pretty windy today, so you gotta have some patience with waiting for the wind or the hedge to go back and stuff like that. but it's doable even on windy days. Let's continue. Now this side is it's lower than the other side, so it's gonna look a bit weird if it's this much grown out on this hedge. So I think I'm gonna have to cut this a bit shorter. We have to take this branch down, but another time. Let's start from this side. We have to cut that side as well, the gate side. Now here we have to be really careful because we have a fence here. And this fence is easily cut by this cutter. So we have to be very careful. Something like that. At least you can see the gate now, right? Looking sharp. Let's continue. Since this hedge is 30 meters or around 100 feet long, we're gonna do the whole side first and then we do the top. It's much easier to get the same height everywhere. So let's start from this line again. Just go straight up like that. As you can see, the wind is pushing the branches in, so we're just gonna have to wait for the wind to calm down and then we can cut them off. And after a few cuts, I usually step back a few meters to check if it's looking good. Then you can spot where you kind of missed. This is a perfect example of when the hedges needed to be pushed in, because these are old branches They're not grown this year, these ones, the thicker ones here. So we just push them in here instead of cutting them off before we cut. Another branch here. Something like that. This one fell out again. Let's try to push it in further. There we go. And here is our first corner. It's a bit tricky to cut the corners. You need to be really precise with this one, or else you're gonna cut into that hedge there. But it's the same principle. That's a nice corner. This hedge is pretty thin on a lot of places, because when we moved in they had big bushes here. So this hedge didn't get a lot of sun. That's why it's so thin now. So it's growing back slowly, but it doesn't look that good. So I'm just gonna go over it again and get the small branches that I missed. And there we have it. This is what it looks like so far. Let's cut off the top now. That's gonna make a huge difference. Now the thing is that when you cut the hedge, it's gonna look weird if you do it chin high all the way, because maybe the ground is uneven. So we're gonna have to try to keep it at this level now, because this is chin high, about chin high. And when I cut the top, I try to level it and just sweep all the branches in here with a flat top, like that. Let's do that all the way around. Doing the same thing here, cutting roughly where I think it's gonna be, the final height, and then I'm gonna go over it again, get the small things that I missed, like this one, etc. Let the wind blow over. Constantly stepping back, checking if the level is high enough. I can see a bump here, so let's cut that off. Now we just go over the top again. Now that's the second pass on the top. It's looking pretty good. Now the good thing with battery powered tools is that you're forced to take a break when they're charging. So let's do that. Yes, there is an outside as well. Same principle here. Now the plan with this hedge is taking a bit off the top and just cleaning off the edges. So same principle there. Sides first, then the top. Now this hedge is a lot taller than this one, so I'm gonna have to cut a slope here, or else it's gonna look weird. Need to oil this one up. Be right back. There we go, freshly oiled. Out of power, that means a break. If you don't have a replacement battery, that is. Does it look straight? I don't know. Maybe. And this is what it looks like. Now let's do that corner. Looks pretty good. This is not as thick as a usual hedge, but good enough. Now I'm just gonna take a little of the sides here and try to make it square or a cube shape. That's good enough. Next hedge. But first we're gonna cut like a walkway for my Ryobi mower, the Yuka Mini 800. The end of the lawn is under the hedge, so I'm just gonna cut the hedge a bit down there so it can pass freely. That's it? No, actually. Let's make that hedge a bit rounded. This looks weird. Perfect. Now we've been discussing getting rid of this hedge all along because it's blocking the sun from shining on my tobacco plant. So I'm gonna cut it real short this time to see what it looks like, and then maybe remove it in the fall or something if it's not looking too bad. Let's cut it short. Sides first. I think I'm gonna thin this out a bit here because when the tobacco grows up, it's gonna be hard to walk around to harvest. Since we want to keep this hedge tall, I think I'm going to cut a slope here as well. There's a fence on the other side that's close to the hedge, so I need to be careful so I don't cut into that. But it's a far bit down, I think, yeah. Cutting a lot at the same time. Same tactic here. Getting the rough part first and then try to even it out. Now the hedge is going to be higher on that side, so we're going to have to do a slope there as well. Now it's a bit uneven. I think it's a bit lower on that side, which is the optimal height, I think. Let's clean it up. A lot of thick branches here. The hedge hasn't been this short in a while. 5-6 years, I don't know. But now it's gonna get short again. Now, what do you say about that? Straight as an arrow, short as a... You tell me. We're finally on to the last hedge here. This is a bit tricky to cut because you see every mistake on this one, so bear with me. Sides first, as always. Oh. Out of battery. Water break. A quick water break, and then it's time to clean up the mess. I won't bore you with this, you know how to do this. Just rake it up, put it on the compost, or recycle it somewhere else. There we go, full battery. A few hours later. Now the rough part is done, and as you can see it's very uneven. So let's try to fix that. Let's get the top. And let's get the stuff that we missed. Take a few steps back. That looks good. Good enough. Now I'm just gonna have to clean all this up and then I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.